Welcome to the NCAA Women's Volleyball Postgame Press Conference featuring Texas. We will hear from Coach Elliott first in a couple minutes, followed by Logan Eggleston. If possible, please check your settings and identify yourself by name and affiliation. Thank you for participating today. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Elliott and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach Elliott, please give us a brief opening statement and then we'll go to questions.
Well, first I'd like to thank the NCAA. I think there's been a lot of media and things that they haven't been doing well, but they've given us the opportunity to be in the Final Four. And when things are going hard, it's hard to be popular. But our program appreciates them. They've given us this opportunity, and we're excited to still be alive. We've got a lot of respect for Nebraska. They're one of the premier programs in the country, and to play here and win on their floor is always special. I thought our team just kind of kept battling. It wasn't a smooth night for us. I think there were some really good parts to it, but we just kind of kept at it. We missed a lot of serves in game two, but in order to be successful in this game, with the way that Stivrins and their middles play, you've got to keep them off the net, and we were able to do that and stuck with it and kept believing and found a way to win.
Thank you. Our first question will come from Danny Davis, so if you would like to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
Danny Davis, Austin American Statesman. Jared, you've always kind of believed in a high-risk, high-reward approach on the service line. I'm kind of wondering how you thought that played out tonight, Logan, and then also kind of that run in the fourth set with Morgan that kind of put you guys back in the lead.
Yeah, it's not. We don't want to be high risk. We want to be consistently good, and we were not that. We can afford to miss 2 to 3 serves a game, 3 being kind of high. But you saw early in game 3 what they were trying to do. They were trying to run their middles, and they were scoring first ball swing. And when you play at this level, if teams are passing on the net, they're going to score. They're going to side out about 70 to 75%, and you're not going to win the games. You got to get them off the net. Especially with our size and our defense, we've got to be able to create some opportunities for transition points, and we were able to do that.
These last 2 matches, how much has Skylar just kind of grown up and shown out in these matches?
Incredible. We looked at a different lineup, obviously, all spring because Melanie brought so much ball control, but we just needed some more kill production, and Skylar is playing arguably the best outside hitter in this right now. So we hope it keeps going on. But I'm really impressed with what she's doing, and she's got a great attitude.
Our next question will be from Lincoln Arneal. So if you would like to unmute yourself, you can do so now.
Yeah, Coach. What issues did Nebraska's serve cost you early on, and what kind of adjustments did you make to handle their serving game?
Well, we knew they would play kind of a short, deep game. We felt that from their setter and the libero, and Lexi had that opportunity. They got us in trouble a little bit in rotation too at times, but we kind of steadied out and played. Again, I think both sides served tough, and they got us off the net. And with our firepower, the team's got to serve tough against us, and it's the most important aspect of the game, the serve and pass.
How important was that mindset to keep swinging away and taking full power swings rather than try to settle in for tips and free balls? How important was that for you today?
Well, yeah. In Game 4, they flipped their lineup. So, Skylar was going off, but she was matched up at the setter. And then, that gave Logan the opportunity to be on the setter, and Skylar was still on fire. So it just gave us two outside hitters to be really potent.
Our next question will be from Kirk Rabels. So if you want to unmute yourself, you can do that now.
Kirk Bowles from the American Statesman. Congratulations, Jared. I wondered, Nebraska played all their matches this spring, and you guys played the fall. I don't know if that was an advantage for them, having played so much now. And are you back to peaking, and do you feel like you are playing better than y'all did at any point in the fall season?
Peaking. We're in the Final Four. We got to be playing pretty good.
Yeah.
We looked at some different lineups, just as I said earlier, some ball control, but Skylar's playing, her kill percentage was really there. And, the challenge with playing we played 2 seasons. So, and it's not only a season that we played, but we had to build them up because we had to, because of all the isolation, we had to kind of slowly get into practices. And then as soon as the fall was over, we gave them so much time off and got them away from everything because we needed them fresh emotionally and physically. But then we had to kind of build them slowly back up, and we only had 8 hours a week, so it was challenging. But that's a tribute to our team and our captains. This group has been special. I just told them it's been one of the most enjoyable years we've had because we just got good people in the program right now.
And y'all lost the second set, and you fell behind 4-1, but there didn't seem to be any panic at all with this team. Can you speak to just the confidence level and the resolve your team has, Jared?
Yeah, I think we had 28 errors in the first 2 games, which is way too many. Against the good teams, and especially Game 2, we missed so many serves, and we didn't give our opportunities to go on some point runs from the defensive side. But this game is about being steady and believing. And the good thing about this group is that our defense can be pretty good at times, and giving ourselves some opportunities to just get back in the game and stay steady with it, because we can go on some point runs, and we were able to do that twice, and gave us some separation there.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Nick Moyle. If you would like to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
I'm not hearing anything.
Hey,
We'll move on. Nick, is your microphone working?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Congrats on the win. Just curious, obviously, y'all had a really quick turnaround. I think it was maybe 18 or 19 hours from the time the Penn State game ended to the time you guys were on the court again. Just wondering, what the approach was for that short turnaround, and how do you think y'all handled that?
Yeah, Travis, our sports science person at Texas, has done such a tremendous job. We keep calculating exactly what our workload is so that we're prepared for this. But this is the really challenging part, and I think our coaches association needs to get with the NCAA. This level of play at the Sweet 16 Elite 8 has really changed over the last 5 or 6 years, and we need a day in between, because this this is really challenging. It's the most important match of the season, almost besides the national championship match, that you get to this point, and to try to get your team ready and recovered. And watching what Kentucky did, they probably didn't get to bed till 2:00 last night. Is not really what is best for these student athletes. But it is what it is, and we didn't talk to them too much about them. We got some rehab in. We got some recovery. We got them to bed early. We asked them to turn away from their social media, and I think it really helped that we actually played in front of an environment where there's some stimulus.
Yeah, that's what I actually wanted to ask about it. Do you think actually having people in the arena, sort of that atmosphere, sort of helped maybe offset any fatigue or exhaustion or whatever they might have been dealing with?
I think so. I didn't know which way it was going to turn on us because we haven't played in front of a crowd like that all year long. We played in front of some fans at Baylor, but our kids haven't heard that in a year, so you don't know what it's like. But I could feel the adrenaline and see it in their eyes and kind of getting jumpy early on, so that was a positive for us.
Our next question is from Roger Wallace. If you'd like to unmute yourself and speak, you can do so now.
Yeah, Jared, you guys won the Big 12 in the fall. You take the break, you come back. I mean, the emotion of this seems like it's so different because of this season. How satisfying it is that your kids have persevered, and what everyone hopes we'll never see another season like this, to see the joy of them celebrating.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a little dance party in our locker room. We went to, I think, 8 out of 9 Final Fours, and then we haven't made it the last 3 years. And it's pretty easy as a coach to start questioning whether you're ever going to get back again. And I just told them how special it is to fight through all this, and it's been a commitment from them. We've had to practice at 7 a.m., so our kids are getting up at 5:30 just because of the way classes fall and trying to get them rest. I mean, there's been so much adversity, but they've looked at we've got a lot of kids that smile and are happy, and I think that has kind of taken effect on the entire staff and the program, and we're able to kind of fight through this. And they were really, really hurt last year with their upset loss at Louisville, and so that sometimes you need to lose to win, and I think that helped us out through this long year.
Thanks.
Our final question is from Danny Davis. So if you would like to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can go ahead and do that now.
Jared, kind of following up on Nick's question about the short turnaround, is there any time for rest these next 3 days, or do you just have to, everyone just got to go right back at it since, this is the national semifinals?
No, I mean, we already have our workload for tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a really light day. We'll get some recovery. I really want our team just to kind of soak this in tonight, and I don't know what kind of little celebration we can have in our team room, but just kind of let them smile and be around themselves, because this isn't really a true bubble, but we've held really true to it. We're not letting family and be a part of this, which is really unfortunate, but our goals are to try to win this thing, and we're trying to take all the precautions possible. So we're just going to try to let them be as free as can and really enjoy this process.
Thank you, Coach Elliott, for your
Okay.
time today.
Thank you guys for making volleyball great. Appreciate it.
We will be joined momentarily by Logan Eggleston. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. We are now joined by Logan Eggleston. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Danny Davis. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Logan. This is why you came to Texas. This is why you commit to a school like this. How does it feel to actually finally get to this stage and get to the Final Four for the first time?
It feels amazing. Like you said, I committed to Texas because I wanted to play in games like that and make it to Final Fours. And I'm just so proud that we got there this year. We put in so much work. So it's such an amazing feeling right now.
You talked a little bit on the postgame with Holly about just you guys' performance from the service line. Could you talk a little about your aces, how Morgan served in that fourth set and just how you guys got it done? The errors were still there, but how you guys got it done today?
Yeah, for sure. We've been talking a lot about how the serve and pass game is so important in beating teams like that. And so we knew we were going to have to come in and be really aggressive against Nebraska because they're a great passing team and they have really great middle. So we wanted to get them out of system as much as possible. So we've been putting a really big emphasis on that. We know that it's going to come with some errors, but then as you can see, it's going to come with some really, really great serves that get them super out of system and, get a lot of aces. So I'm just super proud of the way we served today, especially coming back after yesterday. And I'm excited to keep going.
Our next question is from Kirk Bowles. If you would like to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
Can you hear me, Logan?
Yes, I can hear you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How special was it beating Nebraska? It's been such a nemesis in Texas side for a while. How much special and doing it at their place, kind of?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Being in this gym, it felt like it was a home court advantage for them, but I feel like we definitely kind of switched the table and made it feel like a home court advantage for us just by the way we were playing. But that was my first time playing Nebraska since I've been at Texas. And, the rivalry's always been there, but that was my first time actually getting to compete in a game against them. And it's just like everyone said, they're a high-level team, super competitive, crazy athletic. And so coming out on top just feels amazing.
And you guys get so much. I mean, you're great game in and game out, and Skylar's just playing out of her head, it seems like. And you look at Asia and Jenna. I mean, just talk about Skylar and just how complete this team is, Logan.
Yeah, this team is just so balanced. And I give credit to Jenna just dishing the ball out to everybody. I think, we can all put the ball away and all get a kill. And so I think Jenna does a great job of making sure we all do. And I'm so proud of Skylar. She's really picked it up in these last few games because we really needed her, and she's shown up. And so I'm just so proud of the way she's playing, and honestly the way our middles are playing, the way Molly's playing, the way everyone's playing. I think we're just such a balanced team right now. It's hard to know who to go for.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next question is from Lee Fenswag. So if you would like to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
Well, you got the Lee part. Hi, Logan. It's Lee from volleyballmag.com.
Hey.
The question, while I was watching you guys play and haven't watched you all season, it looks like you're having more fun than ever before. I mean, you just came into, obviously you'd be smiling, you just made the Final Four.
Yeah.
But am I right about you guys, especially this spring, even as compared to last fall?
For sure, yeah. I think just the anticipation of getting closer and closer to the tournament just kind of made all of the emotions just kind of ramp up. And so now that we're finally here, it's just like we've been waiting for this literally since August. It's been such a long season. We've been waiting for it forever, and we're finally here. So we're just kind of like, let's put it all out there. Let's have fun, and let's compete. And so I feel like that's what we're doing, and we're just ready to be here and happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Roger Wallace, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
Hey, Logan, the early part of the season, I'm sure there was probably some, kind of, what are we doing here? It's so unusual. Looking that you guys celebrate kind of, off of what you just said, but can you put into words, because you've had success before, but never in a situation like this?
Yeah, this is definitely new for us. I don't think, only Morgan has been to a Final Four before, and, it wasn't even on a Texas team. So it's a brand new feeling for all of us. And I think we've just been really good about taking it one day at a time. Even in the fall season, when we got back together after kind of the COVID break in the summer, it was just kind of let's take this one day at a time. We're not going to win this thing today. It's going to be, months from now. And so I think we've done a really good job of just having that mentality, and it's carried us through the season and it's gotten us to this point. And we're going to continue to have that mentality as we move forward against these next top teams. And I'm just excited to keep going. I think we have a great personality in our team right now and just great chemistry. And so I'm excited to see how far we can go in this.
Thanks.
Our final question will be from Lincoln Arneal. So if you would please unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
Hi, Logan. Lincoln Arneal from the Omaha World Herald. What is going through your mind? You're down 13-8 in that fourth set. Crowd is getting into it a little bit. You all come back and rally to take the lead. What is going through your mind once you kind of feel that the crowd going against you a little bit at that point?
Yeah, I think we expected the crowd to be against us. So before the game, we talked about how we had to create our own energy and kind of like block out all of that. But again, it kind of goes back to the last question. We were kind of ready for this, like 1 point at a time, 1 day at a time. We knew 1 point wasn't going to win us the games. We were ready to fight back. And then again, I just have so much trust in my teammates, and I know they all have trust in me. And so that's kind of how we battled back in that game. So just going through my head was just like, we're in this, we got this, we've been in these situations before, and we're ready to battle. We're ready to get back in this fourth set.
What was it like in general to play in front of the first big crowd of the year, and after playing against empty arenas and scrambling in France for most of the season? What was it like to be in an arena full of actual people?
It was awesome. Yeah, like you said, we haven't been in a gym that packed before this season. And so for our freshmen, like they were like, whoa, like this is like our first college game, like because they hadn't been in such a big crowd before. But it was great to be playing in front of that many people, even though they were a little bit against us. It was just cool to see so many people dedicated to volleyball and just having a good time watching a super high level game. And so I was happy to finally be in front of so many people again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you.
And thank you all for participating today. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you again for joining us. Welcome to the NCAA Women's Volleyball post-match press conference featuring Nebraska. We will hear from head coach John Cook first, followed by Nicklin Hames. We will get started shortly. If possible, please check your settings and identify yourself in the Zoom by name and affiliation.
Can I take my mask off? Yes. Okay.
All right, we are now joined by Nicklin Hames. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. We'll go ahead and start with Lincoln Arneal. Lincoln, go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, thanks. Nicklin Lincoln from the World Herald. Talk about what was the emotion coming in this, knowing you're going to play in front of fans, and I don't know how soon you all knew about Lauren's situation, whether or not she was a go. What was the mindset coming into today's match?
Yeah, we knew Texas was a big physical team, and we were really going to have to win the serve and pass battle. And we knew this morning that Lauren was playing, so that was very exciting. And then we knew we were going to have our fans, and we were watching the game before, so we saw all the red in there, getting in there for our game. And, our mindset was just go in and play as a team and really believe in each other. And I thought we battled really hard today.
So when the serve and pass, you came out serving really strong too. Do you feel that your serving really helped you establish early on what you wanted to do?
Sorry, can you repeat the first part again? I can't really hear you.
You mentioned the serving and passing was the key, and it came out you served a bunch of aces and served tough. How important was that to get off the way from the service line?
Yeah, I think it was super important, especially when we would go on runs. And, we won the serve and pass battle in that set that we won. And, we would go on runs, and serving super important because they're they have huge middles, huge outsides that are great hitters. So you have to get them out of system to be able to stop them.
Thank you.
We'll go to Andrew Ward next. Andrew, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Nicklin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Nicklin, what was the emotion like in the locker room afterwards?
Sad. We're upset. It's Omaha, which it's kind of a bummer because that would have been so much fun to play in front of all the fans for a national championship. But I'm super grateful for this team. Everything we did this year, it's been a really hard year with COVID, starting and stopping, never knowing what it was going to look like. So I'm glad that I got to be teammates with all these girls, and I'm glad I got to go through this pandemic and everything with them. But I think we're sad. We don't really know who's coming back, but I'm really proud of this team this year.
Next, we'll go to Lee Feinswag. Go ahead, Lee, and unmute yourself.
Hi, Nicklin. It's Lee from volleyballmag.com. Because Texas is so big and strong and forces you to alter what you're doing, Can you just tell me technically what you might have done throughout the match to try to negate them a little bit or put your hitters in better position?
From like a blocking standpoint?
Yeah, just like the sets you made or the communication you might have
Yeah.
had with the hitters and the things that you might have done from, technically.
Yeah, for blocking, we tried to serve certain areas and go into like 51s or 15s is where we like go more towards one side or the other just to try to stop them, especially when I was on front row. They were trying to attack me a little bit. And then from an offensive standpoint, we know they're a huge block, and every day we work on tooling high hands, and it's called trash cans. So I just talked to them a lot about taking big rips, we're in the big stage. We just have to go for it. And I thought everyone did a really good job. And then I was just also finding our middles as much as we could throughout the game.
Thank you.
Our next question will be from Brent Wagner. Brent, go ahead.
Yeah, Kinsey goes on that serving run there in the fourth set, and you guys take a 14-11 lead. I guess what did Texas do so well down in the last half of that set?
Yeah, they just were making plays, and we couldn't stop them. It's hard. We let them go on a run, and so we kind of lost momentum, and they had all the momentum, so the plays were going their way, and they ended up going on a run and being ahead of us, and it was hard for us to catch up at the end.
All right, if we have any more questions for Nicklin, please raise your hand. All right, thank you, Nicklin, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice job. Coach, when you're ready.
Next up, we will have Coach Cook. We'll get started shortly with him. If possible, please check your settings and identify yourself to begin by name and affiliation. Thank you all for participating this evening. We'll now begin with an opening statement from Coach Cook and then go to questions. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you're called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach Cook, please give us a brief opening statement and then we will go with questions.
Well, first of all, I feel like I'm in the Wizard of Oz, and you're like the Oz talking to me from somewhere. It's kind of weird. But great match by Texas. They totally outserved and passed us, and that was our only chance to hang with them because, as Nicklin said, they're a big physical team. They've got 5 great hitters, and you got to put some stress on them, and we didn't do enough of that, and let them get some big runs. And so that was if we didn't pass well today, we were going to have a hard time.
Thank you, Coach. Now we'll go to questions from the media. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. When called upon, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question will come from Lincoln Arneal. Lincoln, go ahead.
Yeah, John, what kind of problems did Texas' outside? I mean, Fields and Eggleston seemed like they were just swinging away at will. What kind of problems did they cause for you in your defense?
Well, they're big physical hitters. They set the ball tight, and they go up there and go over the block. And so you've got to dig them if they get it by the block, or we got to try to touch it. And, we did a pretty nice job on Eggleston. I mean, I think she only hit 2-something, and we had her down there lower than that until we rotated in game 4, and then Nicklin was on her, and she got a couple kills. But Skylar Fields, we had no answer for, and we tried to get Jazz on her, but what really helps is when you serve and get them off the net and not in system, then that gives you a better chance. And, I thought we served pretty well today. I think we had 9 aces, 3 errors, but, we were out of position on defense a few times. We were running around, and we just had to stay disciplined and dig some shots. And I thought, they're going to get some big, exciting kills, but I thought if we could have just not given up some runs siding out, we could have been some close games and had a chance to get this thing to 5 and win it.
Our next question will be from Andrew Ward. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, John, sorry it's loud in here. What was the emotion like in the locker room?
It's pretty quiet, and I think it's been a weird season, and so I was just quiet, and there wasn't much emotion, and it's just this whole thing is what I told them. I'm really proud of how they've handled it, because they've handled a lot better than I have, but they've done a tremendous job all the way since fall, of handling this and the start stops. And, just like this morning, we get 4 positive antigen tests. So we got 4 people that have to go get PCR tests. And so I don't know what the NCAA did today or the testing people did, but we haven't had 1 positive antigen the entire year. And all of a sudden we get 4 today. Well, what do you think that does when you go get locked in a room and you're sitting in there for an hour, and just stuff like that. I mean, you're playing, you're not playing, and so there was a point this morning we weren't even sure if we were going to play or we're going to get canceled. And then I know Texas had a positive as well. So just it's mind games, and they've done a really good job of handling it. And I've seen stuff this year that I have never seen before, with injuries, with emotional stuff, and it's just been a really interesting year. I hope we can have a normal fall season.
Our next question will be from Kevin Suits. Go ahead, Kevin.
John, when do you expect to start having conversations about next year and the players with the opportunity to return for an additional season?
We'll have meetings this week, because we have a lot of them. Some of them are going to go home and do finals, and we're wrapping up the semester here. Some of them are finished, or pretty much, I think, except for a final. So we'll have meetings this week and see where we're at. So we've tried to not make that a focus or much of a conversation, and so those will happen this week.
Our next question is from Brent Wagner. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, John, how do you just describe how significant the difference is with Texas in system and Texas out of system?
They got 2 big physical left side hitters. We've got Nicklin blocking one of them 3 rotations, and Jazz blocking the other, and Jazz is not that big of a physical blocker. So we tried putting Lexi over there a few times, but that's the biggest problem. And then every once in a while they fire to the middle, which I thought we did a pretty good job on those guys, and we did a pretty good job on Phillips. And then we slowed down. Anil started off really hot, but we started slowing her down. So I felt like if we would just sort of stayed a little more disciplined, we could have done a little bit better job on them. But, they're hitting big numbers this year. There's a reason for it. And I think the other thing that really hurts us is we haven't played physical teams like that since Ohio State. Ohio State is a physical team. All the other teams we've played since then, and there hasn't been, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches, have not been that physical, except for Presley yesterday was pretty physical. But Texas has got two Presleys and a couple really physical middles, so it's a whole nother dimension to deal with. But that's typical Texas. That's how they always are. You gotta find other ways to beat them. And we just, like I said, we gave up too many runs today trying to side out, and passing broke down.
If there are any final questions for Coach Cook, please raise your hand. We'll go back to Brent Wagner. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, had this season wore your team down, or did the better team just beat you today?
Well, Texas played better today, so they deserve to win. We won game 2. They came out really strong in game 3, and we just didn't answer. And again, I'm going to attribute part of that to you asked me the other day, are we better now than we were? Yeah, I think we're better than we were a year ago. But we haven't had the matches to build the toughness and the mindset you have to win these kind of matches. And I think that really hurt us today, because we have to execute better than Texas. And And so we just haven't had those matches, and so I think it showed today, and Texas definitely took advantage of it.
We'll go back to Lincoln Arneal. Go ahead, Lincoln.
Now, what was it like playing in an arena somewhat full of fans that were cheering you on today?
It was. This is the first match. It's felt like, oh, we're having a real volleyball match, and there's fans here, and I think both teams were really excited to play, and there was some atmosphere, and we could feel them, and they were, willing us, but also. When you give up 4 points, just shank 4 balls, you don't even get them over the net. I mean, it takes the wind out of the atmosphere. And that's why I said if we could have kept it close, I think those fans could have willed us some points and possibly a win. And but here's what I realize is I never thought how much we would miss having full arenas and big crowds, whether you're home or on the road, you really miss that, and it's definitely it's hard to describe. It's an empty feeling. It's I appreciate the fans that came out today and cheered us. They were awesome as always, and but man, do we miss it, and hope we can get back to normal.
All right. Thank you, Coach Cook, for your time today.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Thank you all for participating this evening. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us.